Hello everybody, so I'm back. I got cut off, connection was pretty bad, so I'm still haven't made it to the office, but I thought I'd finish this recording before too long. So this is a continuation of the Facebook Live that I was doing about 30 minutes ago, 5 reasons anger shows up and how to harness its power. So the gist of the last video was just how important it is to really pay attention to not just, the positive emotions, which really are part and parcel of being human, and these emotions show up in the workplace, it shows up in our leadership, shows up in our business, in the day-to-day interactions with our clients and suppliers and partners and colleagues, and how natural it is and how important it is to look at them and embrace them and see what they have to teach us. And I covered in the last video the first 4 reasons really why anger shows up. Number 1 being there has been a breach of your boundaries or crossing of boundaries. Number 2 is a need was not being met. Number 3 is it is a masking a fear. There's something that you're afraid of that is showing up as the anger on the surface. Number 4, it can also mask hurt because it's more socially acceptable for us to be angry than say that we're hurt. It's easy for us to say I'm pissed off than say I was really hurt. And really the last reason that anger shows up is more to do with yourself, not really about others or external circumstances, even though it can feel like it sometimes, that the outside circumstances are causing your anger. The 5th reason that anger shows up is a heavier one, and that is betrayal. And I feel like the 4 reasons can be encapsulated in as a betrayal, generally speaking. And whenever you have a betrayal, especially of trust, our bodies start to actually not feel safe, and it can kind of start to mirror some symptoms of fight or flight, or even of trauma. Think of a time when you had experienced something quite traumatic. It's either because you started to not feel safe, or that something that or someone that you thought you trusted, you discovered that you can no longer trust them. They broke your trust. So there's a betrayal there, and it could have all of the elements of the previous reasons, and this is key when you recognize, like, wow, there's been a betrayal and there's been a breach of trust. It feels really deep, and can feel really big, and can feel like, wow, how do I navigate this aspect? And just as I was sharing in the last video about a story of a client of mine who had been basically locked out of his own business, and how that was a huge betrayal of trust, and how in really working through the multiple layers of this experience, he was able to harness its message and its power. Anger can be such a powerful teacher and transformer. So if you're in a place where you have some, maybe it's not coming out, or maybe it is coming out, I'm not sure. We're all so trained to really keep a lid on our emotions, especially in the workplace, because it's not professional, and that's fine. You can keep a lid on it until you can't anymore. And so if you find yourself having some anger bubbling inside of you, whether it's just bubbling or whether it's about to explode, or whether you already had an explosion, this happens so often where sometimes as leaders and bosses, we just fly off the handle, and it's not something to be proud of, but it does happen, right? So whenever we have those times and places where we do have anger does show up, it's showing up to be met It's showing up to be seen. It's showing up to be recognized, and it's showing to be acknowledged. Really encourage you to take a look at that. Find yourself a trusted friend or that therapist if you have one, or a coach or a mentor, to really explore that, because therein, it may not seem that way at the time, but therein lies your power, because you'll discover, something that truly what it boils down to is there's something that's not being honored, whether it's your boundaries or your need, or your sort of, not even honoring, like, a hurt perhaps, or, what is it? Yeah, fear can teach you something too. It's another one of those big emotions. And I believe it's so important to look at these as signs, and truly where we can sink in and discover, what's right and true for us. And that's really where you can lead from a place of truth and authenticity, and that's like the seed of success, right? Can you imagine if you're trying to run a business and you're trying to make money, and there's these misalignments all over the place, right? You're doing things that you don't really feel great about, or you're showing up to work swimming in all these negative emotions, you haven't cleared them yet. And it's just so important to do our inner work always, right? As leaders, so key, because as we do that, we'll be able to be more present for the emotions and the experiences of our team members. Believe it or not, our team members are humans too. They're not just employees. They're not machines. They're not robots. They have feelings too. And so the more that you look at your own dark emotions, or so-called negative feelings, the more you can be present for theirs, and the more you can empower them to take responsibility for how they're feeling, and how they can also tap into that place of power and truth within them. And this is really the foundation of creating a conscious workplace, the foundation of conscious leadership, if that's something that is important to you, and that's something that you value and want to express through your business. So I feel like before I get the message again that my broadcast has been cut off, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for your bravery and exploring this territory that I know sometimes can be so uncomfortable, and sometimes we feel like we just want to kind of like hide under a rock, or just want to kind of, just go behind closed doors and not look at it. But really, if we illuminate these dark places, you will find that that's actually where more of your power lies, for as long as you work through these and what they have to teach you. It will really take you to a place where you're more solid in yourself, more solid in your leadership, and in turn influence, impact your team in the same way. So if you're someone who is navigating some difficult and dark emotions in your business or in your leadership, or really just want to encourage you to sign up for a clarity call with me. You can find out more on my website, www.theconsciousceoexperience.com/clarity-call, or otherwise just go on the homepage and you'll be able to find a link to the clarity call page in the navigation bar. There's so many things there's a couple things going on this month. There is a webinar on Boss to Leader, 3 keys to reducing stress and increasing effectiveness. And there's also a preview of the Conscious CEO Mastermind, which will be launching in the late spring, early summer. And I'm offering one or maybe possibly 2 preview sessions for you to experience what it's like to be in a mastermind and to be coached by me in a group. So I invite you to hop on there. If you don't have that information I invite you to sign up for my newsletter, or otherwise I will actually be asking my VA to post all of that information on the website and within the Facebook as well soon enough. So thanks again for tuning in. I really honor your journey, and I'm constantly amazed and inspired by everything that you're doing, the leaders that I get to meet every day. And until next time, remember, I believe in you, and I believe that you can create extraordinary success on your own terms and from the inside out. Bye for now.